For pre-need funerals, burials, or cremation since 1975, Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. Now, when it comes to pre-need, Miss Doris Thrash is a pre-need person at Curtis and Son Funeral Home, and it is a fact that death has particular seasons where death is busier. There are more deaths. January is one of those months. And if you have not pre-planned your funeral service or a family member's funeral service, don't wait until the need arises. Make that appointment to call Doris Thrash today at 256-245-4361 for pre-need information that you will be glad that you did later on. When the time of death comes for a loved one, or even for you, your family won't have to deal with all the stuff that goes along with a death of a loved one. And maybe for you, if you're a father or a mother or brother or sister, you'll have everything already taken care of, and your family can grieve, or they can celebrate your life any way they want to do it. That's pre-need from Curtis and Son Funeral Home. Call Doris Thrash today for more information. She knows all about this stuff, and I'm just telling you, I've seen it way too many times. People are not prepared for death, and you say, well, how can you be prepared for death? Well, you can be prepared in a way that all of the things that need to be done at the time of death is already taken care of. The casket, all the ins and outs of a funeral service, the church, the ministers, it's all done. And you won't have to deal with that at the time of death. So talk with Doris Thrash today, 256-245-4361. That's 256-245-4361. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg. In obituary news this morning, Mr. Freddie Mac McDaniel, age 60, of Childersburg, died Tuesday at Coosa Valley Medical Center. Funeral service Saturday, January 13th at 2 p.m. from Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel, with the Reverend Heath Webb officiating. The station will be 11:30 until 2 on Saturday. Burial follows the service in Green Hill Memorial Gardens. Online memorials at CurtisandSonFuneralHome.com, Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel, directing. Judy M. Scott, age 92, of Sylacauga, died January 9th at Sylacauga Health and Rehab. Funeral service is Friday, January the 12th at 1 p.m. at Curtis and Son North. Visitation 2 hours prior to the service. In lieu of flowers, donation can be made to the Central Alabama Alzheimer's Association. Online memorials may be made to CurtisandSonFuneralHome.com, Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Mr. Thomas Franklin Butler, age 39, of Ashland, died Wednesday, January 10th at UAB in Birmingham. Graveside service will be held Friday at 2 p.m. from Fayetteville Cemetery, with the Reverend Mark Deason officiating. The station 12 until 2 on Friday at Curtis and Son North Chapel. Online condolences at CurtisandSonFH.com, Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Funeral service for Darlene Tyler, age 54. That service will be today at 2 p.m. from the Childersburg Chapel at Curtis and Son Funeral Home. Interment in the Green Hill Cemetery. Mrs. Tyler died on January 7th. Online condolences at CurtisandSon.com, Curtis and Son Funeral Home, Childersburg Chapel, directing. Funeral service for Cynthia Gallops Giles, age 54. Memorial service will be held on Friday at 3 p.m. from Curtis and Son North. I'll be officiating that service. Visitation 1 hour prior to the service. Online condolences at CurtisandSonFH.com. Ms. Giles died Saturday, January 6th at Grandview Medical Center in Birmingham. Curtis and Son Funeral Home, North Chapel, directing. Funeral service for Mr. Kenneth Ray Hubbard will be Friday at 11 a.m. from Ursery Funeral Home Chapel in Talladega, with burial in the Midway Memory Gardens. Visitation will be tonight, 5 until 7, at the funeral home. Mr. Hubbard died on Tuesday, and he passed away at St. Martin's in the Pines in Birmingham, Ursery Funeral Home in Talladega. in charge of the arrangements. Graveside service for Mr. Roy Wilson, age 45, will be Friday, January 12th at the family farm on 7 Sweet Gums Road in Fayetteville at 3 p.m. Mr. Wilson died January 6th at his residence. Online condolences at communityfuneralhome.org, Community Funeral Home directing. Graveside service for Mr. Sam Wilson Jr., age 72, will also be Friday at the family farm on 7 Sweet Gum Road beginning at 3 p.m. Of course, that's in Fayetteville. Mr. Wilson died January 6th at his residence. He was a native of Sylacauga and a retired state trooper with over 18 years of service. He also served in the United States Army 82nd Airborne Division. Online condolences at communityfuneralhome.org, Community Funeral Home directing. Justin E. Twyman, age 19, died January the 8th in Talladega. Community Funeral Home will announce the arrangements. Celebration of life, Mr. Herschel Hawkins Jr., age 70, will be Friday at noon from Southside Baptist Church. Pastor Marvin C. Jones officiating. Sims Funeral Service directing. Funeral service for infant Olivia Faith Morgan of Alexander City will be Saturday at 11 a.m. from Rocky Creek Baptist Church, with Reverend Harold Cummings officiating. Burial in the Rocky Creek Cemetery. The family receiving friends Friday 5 till 7 at the funeral home. Infant Morgan died January the 2nd. Online condolences at radleyfuneralhome.com, Radley Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Johnny Lynn Osborne, age 54, of Alexander City, will be Friday at the Chapel of Radley Funeral Home in Alexander City. Marty Adams officiating. Burial in the Hillview Memorial Park. The family receiving friends Friday noon until 2 at the funeral home. Mr. Osborne died January 9th at Russell Medical Center. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleyfuneralhome.com, Radley Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Ms. Maybelle Tucker, age 87, is Friday at 11 from New Salem Baptist Church, with Reverend Tom Drake officiating. Burial in the Bethlehem New Salem Cemetery. The family receiving friends tonight, 5 until 7 at the funeral home. Ms. Tucker died Wednesday, January 10th. Radley Funeral Home, Alexander City directing. Memorials can be made in lieu of flowers to New Salem Baptist Church, 13930 Highway 22 East, Newside, Alabama, 36256, Radley Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Mr. Austin Miles Ward, age 33, is today at 3 from the Chapel of Radley Funeral Home. Dr. Matt Haynes officiating. Burial in the Hillview Memorial Park. Mr. Ward died Saturday, January 6th at his residence in Auburn. Radley Funeral Home directing. Robert Larry Cooper, age 74, died January the 7th. Funeral service Friday at 2 p.m. from Ursery Funeral Home, with a private burial to follow in the Pine Hill Memorial Park. The family will receive friends tonight, 5 until 7, at the funeral home. Mr. Cooper was a member of the Mount Vernon Baptist Church in Sylacauga and a retired Baptist minister. Ursery Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Mrs. Ella Mae Wesson, age 92, will be today at 1 o'clock from the Chapel of Radley Funeral Home. Reverend Lonnie Phillips, along with Reverend Charles Reeves, officiating. Burial in the Eagle Creek Baptist Church Cemetery. Mrs. Wesson died January 7th at Brown Nursing Home. Flowers will be accepted, or memorial contribution can be given to the Servant's Heart Ministries, 893 Main Street, Jackson Gap, Alabama, 36861, Radley Funeral Home directing. Stephen Franklin Weathers died January 4th. A memorial service will be 4 o'clock Friday, January 12th at First Presbyterian Church in Alexander City. The family requests contribution be made to the Multiple Sclerosis Society or to First Presbyterian Church. Robbie Mae Watson, age 85, died January the 7th. Funeral service today at 1 p.m. from Lincoln Baptist Church, with burial in the Lincoln Cemetery. Ms. Watson was a member and the Secretary-Treasurer for the Lincoln Baptist Church for some 40 years. Online condolences at urseryfuneralhome.com, Ursery Funeral Home directing. Georgianne Oliver Veazey, age 65, died at UAB on December 29th. And visitation will be held Saturday, January 13th at Radley Smith Funeral Home from 1 until 3, followed by a memorial service at 3. In lieu of flowers, the family has requested that friends and family donate a children's book to the B.B. Comer Memorial Public Library in Sylacauga, or a monetary donation to the Sylacauga Animal Shelter in her honor. Online condolences at radleysmith.com, Radley Smith Funeral Home directing. Funeral service for Mr. Philip D. Fry, age 69 of Alpine, will be Saturday at 11 a.m. from the chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home. Brother Harold Kelly officiating. Burial in the Evergreen Cemetery. Mr. Fry died January 9th at UAB in Birmingham. Visitation Friday, 5 until 8 at the funeral home. Memorial messages may be sent to the family at radleysmith.com, Radley Smith Funeral Home in Sylacauga, in charge of the arrangements. And funeral service for Candy Pickens, age 33, will be Friday as well at 2 o'clock from the chapel of Radley Smith Funeral Home. Reverend Gene Griffith officiating. Burial in the Tallahatchie Cemetery of Alpine. Mrs. Pickens died January 8th at Grandview Medical Center in Birmingham. Visitation tonight, 5 until 8 at the funeral home. Memorial messages can be sent to the family at radleysmith.com, Radley Smith Funeral Home in Sylacauga directing. That's a look at obituaries this morning, brought to you by Curtis & Son Funeral Home, the North Chapel on Highway 21 in Sylacauga, and the Childersburg Chapel on Highway 280 in Childersburg. 256-245-4361 for pre-need, funerals, burials, or cremation since 1975. Curtis & Son Funeral Home, Sylacauga, Childersburg.